Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve Peterson. We're here in the garage with a few of my Velosters, as you can see behind me and behind me and behind me. So today's project is to get the subframe out of the parts car. You can see it way back there. We're going to drop the subframe out of there. I've already got the bottom steering shaft bolt disconnected, but I'm going to run through underneath the couple bolts that you need to do to get that off of the car. And eventually that subframe is going to end up here on the fix and flip Veloster. That's the goal, that's the plan. Today's project will be to get the front subframe out of the parts car here. That is the whole subframe, as you can see across here. So this whole subframe holds a steering rack, holds a sway bar, and it's what all of your control arm and other steering components bolt to. I do have the red car here with the subframe, more viewable because the engine isn't in here. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about. The subframe is this big steel component here. You can see the steering rack bolts to it. The sway bar bolts to it with the sway bar brackets and bushings. And then all of your other steering components, the suspension components, all bolt onto this as well. Some of you would say, well, why don't you take the steering rack and the subframe out of this car? Well, I would rather not, because if I do that, that makes this rolling shell no longer a rolling shell, and currently it is still a roller. Although the engine is removed and transmission is removed, and although I did cut the harness, I used all of the pigtails and stuff from this harness to fix my show car here. Although that is all cut out, that does not mean that this car is worthless. I have some ideas. I have some things that have been thrown around in my head for what I might be able to use this project for. I have already robbed quite a few of the interior components out of this car, but this is a good rolling shell of a Veloster. So, for now, the car can sit here and stay a rolling shell, because the goal is to get this rear-ended Veloster the hell out of my garage, because I need this space. So I have been in the process of stripping this car down, taking parts off of it, selling them. I still need to pull the rest of the rear torsion bar and brakes and things like that off the back here. I did finally pull the hatch on this car and some of the plastic away, because I've been inspecting for some potential future projects going with doors and things like that. I'm working on potentially a suicide door idea or a butterfly door idea of some sort with that third door for my show car, something that will go along with my reverse open hood. So that's kind of been what I've been working on here. I got the hatch off. I got all the plastic off over here, and just kind of been inspecting this area to see what kind of frame I have to work with, what kind of welding I will need to do, what modifications would need to be done to potentially add a suicide door hinge on that side, or a butterfly, like a gull wing door of some sort, or a Lamborghini door. Basically, my thought is to have my third door open in reverse. Obviously, I'm a show car. This is, I did my reverse hood, and I've always kind of had the idea of doing something creative with this third door. So I'm thinking of using this shell. Once I get it stripped down, I'm going to use this shell as almost practice to potentially design that reverse opening door there. But I still have a lot to go on getting this car stripped down. I got to pull the exhaust out. This is the ARK DTS exhaust system. This is an awesome exhaust system. I don't think ARK makes these still. I'm not sure. If they do, I know they're still expensive. This one has the burnt tips. There you go. There's the ARK burnt tips. Now you do see that exhaust is bent. It is fixable, I believe. I need to kind of get it off the car and see how bent things are, but I believe I can bend it all back. Nothing looks like it's damaged. But I'm going to get the exhaust off the car, going to get the rear subframe off the car, and we're going to get the front subframe off today. And I'll be taking the whole front core support here off the car, and we're going to be eventually pulling the motor out of here. This is a good 40,000 mile running and driving engine and transmission. So I have a spare. The automatic trans I will probably sell. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I may just keep the trans with the engine together for now. Who knows? Here we are under the parts car, and this is the subframe that I will be removing. You can see up here at the top of the picture, there is that wishbone mount. That wishbone mount is what's bolting the engine transmission-ish area to the subframe. This is not a load-bearing mount, so it can be removed, and the engine and transmission can still be suspended in the engine bay. This wishbone mount is really just for like the torque reduction of the engine. The rear bushings here, what you would change out to poly bushings if you're looking to stiffen this up and reduce some wheel hop and engine movement. But again, we will be able to remove this mount. I'm just going to take these two bolts off the subframe and just leave the mount hanging there. And that's going to allow that whole subframe to disconnect from pretty much everything. There's basically just the 4 bolts. We will need to move jack stands. I'm going to move the jack stands out to the outer pinch weld. Okay, here we go. We are going to drop this subframe down. Again, I have already undone the 13 millimeter bolt that is inside the cabin by the gas and brake pedal. There is a bolt there that basically bolts the steering shaft to the rack. I have also already gone through and taken a ratchet and kind of loosened all of the bolts on the underside of the subframe here, just because I didn't want to just throw an impact on them and start clanking on them. I didn't want to like break any of them or anything like that in case one was rusty or something. So I should be able to run through now and just kind of zip everything out. I used a... Oh, what size is this? This is a 19 millimeter deep well. You can see here with an extension and a kind of a big ratchet to reach the upper subframe bolts, the ones that mount to the bottom of the frame rails. And then you can take the extension off and you'll be able to get the other 19 millimeter bolts out the back. The other tool needed was my cordless impact here. I just threw a swivel on it, and this is a 14 millimeter, and that is what the wishbone bolts are that run into the front of the subframe. And then there is also a bolt on each rear back corner of the subframe that is the same size, 14 millimeter. So without further ado, let's get all these zipped out of here, and let's drop this subframe. I want to point out I do have the subframe supported on this side with a jack. I suppose I could throw a jack on this side as well. I didn't really think that's that necessary. This subframe isn't super heavy. I did just support it so that it doesn't just fall on my face as I go to remove the last bolts. I'm going to take this side off first, and then we'll go to the other side, and this whole thing should just drop down. long bolts. Yep, there you go. See that subframe just kind of came down. It didn't fall completely out, which is nice. I should be able to lower this jack down now, and that subframe should come right out. There we go. And there we have it, folks. There we go. That is the front subframe, the steering rack, and the sway bar. As you can see, this one is in phenomenal condition. No rust, no issues at all. So that wraps us up for today. That was removing the front subframe. The subframe will end up in my fix and flip Veloster. Just one more thing to improve the overall quality of the car and hopefully make it drive better for the next person when they buy it. Have some more projects coming. Thanks for watching, everybody.